welcome to Ian Bagg Bought a House, a show, podcast, videocast, audiocast, all kinds of cast about me, Ian Bagg, buying a house on the eastern shore of Virginia. And what we've done is we've moved my mother-in-law inside that house, and while she's living in that house, we're changing everything in the house. A lot of people ask me, Ian, is the house livable? The house is livable. The house was built in 2004, and we are just changing everything and making it nice. So I bought it on a short sale, and it was empty for quite a while. Then I moved a renter in for a bit for the first 6 months, and then my mother-in-law moved in. It is actually, it's a fine rental house if you want to live in there right now. But I wanted to make it a home. So I'm changing a lot of things and making it better. So far, we've done the kitchen. So far, we've done a lot of the outdoor exterior of the house. I've redone a lot of the front yard, the walkway, blah, blah, blah. And that's what's going on. So this week, I'm talking to Ian Leith. I probably might be saying his name wrong. We'll find out soon. But Ian is a homeowner. This week, I wanted to talk to a homeowner. I wanted to know things about somebody that owns a home other than me. So we're going to talk to him. But first, we're going to get to my week. We're going to talk to my friend Chris Adams, who is one of the producers here at the show, and just a fine, fine human being. Hello, Christopher.
Hey.
Hey, where's your microphone?
Oh, I just forgot it.
You forgot it? Yeah. He's a fine, fine human that doesn't remember things. My week was fantastic. This is what I did this week. We are going to have a special guest on the show at some point. We will be having Adam Carolla come on the Ian Bagg Bought a House show. I did Adam Carolla show this week, and I asked him, and he's interested, and he's going to do it. So we're going to time it out right. It's going to be fantastic. So in the next month or so, get ready for our biggest guest of all times, Adam Carolla, will be on the show. So that's going to be exciting. Put on your pants, because Adam's going to be on the show. So if you want to listen to the Adam Carolla show, I talk about this show, go back there, listen to it. I think it was out on Thursday. As I was getting to Lake Chelan, was where I was this week, a lake up in Washington State that is very beautiful. And by the way, Alaska Airlines can kiss my ass. I'm going to say it right now. Chris, I know you're plugging in right now, but listen. I was on a plane from Los Angeles to Seattle, and I go from Seattle to Wenatchee, right? So the plane lands on time, exactly on time. We sat on the tarmac for 55 minutes because they didn't have a gate for us. How do you not have a gate for a plane that lands on time? That doesn't make sense at all. Are you listening to me, Chris? Or are you still plugging in your microphone?
No, I'm listening.
It doesn't make sense if you have some. That means that they didn't have enough gates to begin with. That's what it means, right?
Yeah, correct.
So they just, and I was told that happens a lot there. So they just don't have enough gates for how many planes they have coming in, which means that they have to build more gates or put less flights in. It's a scam. Alaska Airlines, kiss my butt cheeks. Not on the left, not on the right, but right in the middle. Boo-hoo. Oh my God! So that made me. But it was a great weekend up in Lake Chelan. Rotten Apples Comedy Crew up there. The people of Lake Chelan, the people that go vacation up there. Just it reminds me of the Okanagan. It's just down from the Okanagan in British Columbia, and it reminds me of when I was a kid going to the lakes with my family when we were on my way to see my grandparents in Trail, British Columbia. Good story, Ian. How was your week, Chris?
I had a good week. I got to go to the Dodger game on Friday.
Who'd you go with?
My friends, just from my buddy, his wife, and their parents.
Some of that sounds fun. Parents, were the parents cool?
Yeah, they're fine. I enjoyed them. We ended up. I got a ride back with them. They were a little backseat driver-ish.
Were you driving?
No.
Or the backseat driver-ish to
my buddy.
Oh, he was driving.
He was driving, and his wife, and it was her parents, and they were just like,
slow down.
Yeah, you know how older people from the South are?
Oh, so there's like, slow down. Remember, Jesus likes white people.
Yeah.
They're
from Virginia.
Oh, they're from Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh, no. My father-in-law does not slow down. He goes fast and texts while drives. Fucking drives me insane. I have to backseat to him. We can respond to that Facebook post when we get there.
Yeah.
That's whereabouts in Virginia they're from?
They're from the more racist one. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, I wonder where that would be.
I think it's the west one, isn't it?
Oh, they're from West Virginia?
I believe so,
yeah.
So
they're coal people.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they don't care about the environment.
No.
Dig that hole, lose a couple people every so often.
But I had a good time hanging out with them, watching the game, and
To be honest with you, you get to a certain age where people that are parents, they suddenly become your friends.
yeah.
And you're hanging with all sorts of people that are different ages, and it just kind of it falls over. I laugh though because I listen to a podcast called Spit and Chicklets that I really like, and it is offside. But my mom uses some of the words from the from the show that they use. Like my mom used chirp a lot and stuff like that. So my mom is obviously hanging out with people that are younger than her, which makes me nervous. My mom is taking her scooter out and meeting people.
One of the electric ones.
Yeah.
Do they have those in Canada?
Well, not where I grew up, but I'm sure they do in Vancouver. Vancouver is just getting Uber.
What?
Yes. Their taxi commission was so strong they weren't able to get Uber for quite a while. They kept them out, but they're just getting Uber. So I can't wait to go back to Vancouver to just use Uber because, wow, that's going to be so easy to get around. This week I'm in Ontario. So tonight I get on a plane and I go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I do a show out there for the people of Sheets. Sheets is a convenience store, and it's actually the best convenience stores I've ever been in. It should be all over, but it is in the Pennsylvania area. I think they have 200 of them or some 250 of these stores. And I'm doing a show for some of the bigwigs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're ever out in the Pennsylvania area, go to Sheets. It's good food. They make the food fresh. They make food like, you know how you go into a 7-Eleven, and it's been there for years.
Years, yeah.
Well, there at Sheets, they make the sandwich. Like you order the sandwich, and then they make it like you do it. It's bizarre,
What?
yeah. And they have gas stations. It's good. Mm-hmm.
I've only seen a few when I go on like road trips. Some of the convenience stores are actually decent.
Yeah.
Is it like that where?
No, it's really good.
Oh,
Like
it's
it's
even better.
really good. Like it's high end, and it's family owned. And they
Okay.
take really good care of the people that make the money, otherwise known as their employees.
Wow.
They pay well. They have parties for the people. The first time I worked for them, I did as the year I got Pearl and the year I broke my ankle. They did it for every 5 years that you work at this company, they throw a big party for you. And they spent like money on they ate for free for 3 days. They drank for 3 days. They had bands. They could do like mountain biking. They could do all these different things at this resort that they put them up at. And then they had like it seemed like they had $1 million worth of fireworks for these people every night, saying thank you. And they, as far as I know, they have very good health care, which I think is the most important thing for a company.
It's when you find a company that treats you well. The employees, ironically, everything is done better. I don't know why.
That's what blows my mind when a company treats their employees like their employees, or they're giving. Oh, you're lucky we give you a job. That is where the companies are run like shit.
Yes.
Their product is subpar. And that's what we talk about on this show. Is if you hire somebody, you hire them great, treat them well. They will make your house even better. So
yeah,
it's all good. I'm actually headed out to the house next week. No, not next week. Yeah, I don't even know what week it is. So this isn't live. This is being taped on Monday. So next Tuesday I'll come in and do 2 shows, and then that night I'll get on a plane. So I'm going out. I think it's August 30th, and I'll be there for a week and a half. And looking forward to it. I will be doing some insulation on the house. What else will I be doing? I'll be doing a couple other things. Getting the new number plates put on the address on the house. Looking forward to it. And while we're there, I think they're starting to paint the house, so that should be exciting. This week, how long have we been on? Should I move on? Tell me how long. How many minutes? 9 minutes. I'll do a couple more. Talk about my life. I actually stayed this week in a Airbnb, and it just made me so curious. If you live in a place where people visit, I would probably buy doesn't have to be a duplex, but something that you could rent out and live in at the same time, so it pays your bills. We were staying in this house, and it made me laugh because I was like, "You guys, they must have kids." They didn't have kids, but one of the rooms they'd done into a superhero theme, and they had the red Power Ranger stuff all over the place. And my buddy is actually Jason Font is actually the red Power Ranger. And I'm like, dude, I think I'm staying in your room because your outfit is on the wall. And it made me a little weird because it was a full grown man outfit, right? And it looks like a kid's room. I'm like, I'm either staying in a kid's room or somebody's sex room because this. Well, it's when it's a full size Power Ranger, like they're dressing up and doing weird shit in here. Anyways, but you should. I think. Let me know. Just send me a message and say, or not a message. Just put it right on this message thing. I don't even know what it is. Is it a text? What is it?
What are you talking about?
When I tell people to contact me, put it on Facebook. What is that?
Like a comment or a message?
Yeah, comment. I guess it's a comment. So comment on it. What you think about Airbnb and would you do it? Should you do it? Let me know what you think about that. Also comment who you want to see on this show. Also comment if you think you should be on this show. Also comment, tell me things, send pictures of houses you see that you think you'd like to buy. Send me things that you see in the world. Tell people all about this show. I know we have some Adam Carolla people now listening to the show, and I'm very happy to have them on the show. I'm looking forward to having you, a homeowner. This is going to be my first homeowner today. I'm going to have more homeowners on the show. I need to know about the struggles you go through. So, with that being said, today's guest is joining us live right now. Welcome to the show, Ian and Jamie Leaf, homeowners extravaganza from the Chicago area. Berwyn, I think, is the town you're in.
Correct.
How long have you guys been homeowners?
So we bought in 2011. So it's been 8 years this month, actually.
Is this your first house that you've ever bought?
Yes.
Okay. And now, were you guys planning on buying a house, or was it something that just jumped up at you and you guys are like?
We always had owning a home in mind, but we lived in LA for 6 years.
Right.
And buying a house out there seemed almost unattainable. And we grew up in the Midwest, so adjusting from the Midwest to LA, prices for homes were like, no way. So we came back to Chicago in 2008.
Yeah.
And lived in apartments a couple of years, and then all the while, knowing that home ownership was the goal. That's what you're supposed to do as you grow up. So,
right. And it was possible for you once you moved back to the Chicago area. You're like, we can get everything here now, right? Just because of prices. Yeah. Question for you: did you buy the house or did you buy the neighborhood?
A little of both.
Yeah, that's a tough question. We knew that we wanted to buy in Berwyn. When we moved back to Chicago area, we lived in a couple of the surrounding suburbs. Mm-hmm. Just really liked the community here. And we originally were looking like in the South Berwyn, and then we were at a place where literally ready to give up. We probably looked at 30 houses, couldn't find anything we really liked. And then this house showed up the day we were about ready to give up.
I'd say we definitely
so we really
limited our search to a certain area.
Mm-hmm.
We knew where we wanted to live, and then it was just a matter. Actually, where we live is notorious for having really good quality homes. After the fire, Chicago had so many strict building codes established. Right. So a nice, strong brick bungalow that doesn't need too much work on the bones of it. Everything's kind of internal, old wiring, old this and that.
Yeah.
Right. That's great that you're able to look in the neighborhood you wanted and to have those things go down. How old is the home that you own that you ended up buying?
It was built in 25.
Oh.
So about 90, almost 100 years old.
So it's definitely got some interesting things that you never want to get rid of, and also some interesting things where you're like, wow, I'm pretty sure that's Al Capone's finger.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nothing's ever simple. We were doing home maintenance. It's like things are wonky. Walls aren't straight. You need so much needs to be retrofitted. So
are you guys doing something right now on the house? Or do you have a project that you're on? What are you
always doing something on this house? Yeah.
Always. What are you doing right now?
We're reflooring the basement floor, bathroom. We have a mother-in-law suite downstairs that we converted to a sort of a bar area. Oh. And there's a bathroom there. So we're doing a little bit of bathroom work, some floors, some trim and quarter round baseboarding, and there's always another project around the corner.
Okay, so
do not do anything outside right now.
Yeah, right. So do it inside. There's air conditioning. What are you doing to the floors exactly? Are you putting down a laminate, or are you?
we're putting down tile, but that means making sure everything's straight. So we have to put down some floor leveler, which means having to get messy and dirty, and then picking up old tile, and we had to replace a bit of floor under the toilet because it had rotted a little bit. So one job always turns into 5 jobs. You pull up the tile and realize you got to scrape away the old tile and then put new floor, and then that's not level, so then you got to level that, and then you got to caulk around here. And
is it as easy as the internet says with the whole floor leveler? Or do you just pour it down and it just levels itself, or is it
No, it takes some smoothing out. I want it to be like milk or like honey, just let it all like sit, but it's not like poly.
Right.
It's more like joint compound or something where you have to. It's chunky, so you gotta. As it dries, it gets chunkier, so you got to smooth it out quickly. Almost like concrete, I guess, when you see those guys out the trowel.
Well, according to the internet, what I've seen is just you just pour it down there, and life just gets better.
Maybe we're using the wrong stuff or doing it wrong.
Maybe. What's your background? Are you in construction, or like what makes you think that you? What's that?
Absolutely not. Her family is all a bunch of very good do-it-yourself people. I have a brother that's really good at it, but I didn't grow up learning it and doing it. I'm a musician.
Right.
And I never wanted to get my hands dirty, but when you buy a house, you kind of have no choice.
If you don't, you're obviously a complete millionaire, a billionaire, right? If you're not, so you're able to phone your brother or her family and say, "I'm going to do this. Any advice?" And they'll give you advice, no problem.
Between that and YouTube videos,
sometimes. So we grew up in houses that were built in the 1950s. I mean, this house is kind of a. When my dad comes out to help, he's like, I have no idea with some of the things in our house. Even just putting up the chandelier, he was like, this is not meant for your house. Like, I'm missing a piece to make this work. We have to go to some random hardware store where they have just rows and rows of like bulk.
I've been told that before. If you buy an older house, when you do things, there will be certain things that are missing, it'll be it won't match up at all because technology has changed and. Like some things won't be grounded even. So
well, they used to have no standards for things, and then they created a standard. But then all that old stuff is just out of sort of
still in the house. Yeah. You guys did your cabinets. We were just talking about it before we started. I was like, I like your cabinets, and you said you guys did those. Was that one of the first projects you did?
Well, actually, we didn't put the cabinets in. We just painted what was already there. It was like some old 70s.
I love it.
Which isn't easy to do, painting cabinets.
It is a process. I mean, when you do it right, it's a process. It takes forever. You got to put down deglosser, and then you got to sand, and then you got to prime, and then you got to sand, and then you got to prime, and then you got to put the paint on, and then you've got to get the special paint, and then you got to sand again. And I mean, I was like near tears towards the end.
I love that you guys actually did it because I paid for mine to be done. So the fact that you guys, my wife would if we had lived out there would have done it, but because we don't live out there, we had somebody do it. And much respect because we did read a lot about it. We watched lots of YouTube videos, and a lot of people, when you try to hire them, just won't do it. They're like, nope, we're not getting involved. So how long did it take you guys to do it? Do you think a couple weeks?
Yeah, it probably took about 2 weeks.
Is there anything that you would have done different now that you look at it?
Maybe not started to do it in the winter because when we pulled up the floors that were in here, we had hardwood floors, maple floors, but it was the middle of winter, and to refinish those was not going to happen. So we just put down some different flooring, knowing that in the future we're going to have to pull these up and do it right. But we probably did not start at the best time of the year. I would say our biggest mistake in home ownership was we refinished our hardwood floors ourselves. And, people said, oh, you can't do that. And anytime somebody says that to me, it becomes a game. Like, oh, yeah, I can really do this, right? So we got a quote for somebody to sand. They were like, oh, $800. Now, if that happened today, I would just write them that check. Like, absolutely come do this, right? No, I decided we were going to sand it ourselves. It was a nightmare. I mean,
it was the first task we took on after we bought the house, and it almost ended our marriage. I had to go on a 2-year cruise.
Had to leave.
Skilled. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos, but let me tell you, that is a skill to know how to use one of those machines. So, like, I would never do that again. Yeah.
When you watch the YouTube videos, there should be a link right to marriage therapy or relationship therapy, right? That goes right to it, because what they don't tell you is if you're in a couple with those things, you're gonna have an idea, and your wife is gonna have an idea, and most of the time, I'd say 97% of the time, your wife's idea is the way it's going.
I would say that's pretty accurate.
That's lowballing it.
That's lowballing, exactly. Is there anything that you've wanted to do to the house where you've been shot down, Ian?
Not so much. Sometimes maybe in amount of things to display. You know, I tend to think that more is better sometimes, like cluttering up. You know, like a teenage boy's bedroom is just covered in posters. I want to throw some things. I trust her decorating skills, though. Once I started seeing, especially the kitchen, like she really ties it all together. I learned things called flow. And but we have no kids, so we have the whole house is ours. So I'm able to section off a part of it just for me. Just for my
you got a little area, did you?
Yeah.
What area is that? Do you have a bedroom or something that you were allowed to put stuff in or something?
I got a little pad, a little mattress pad.
On.
I can sleep on.
You're the envy friend. So the basement had an apartment in it when we moved in, and paying like extra $2,000 in taxes every year because we have this basement that we had no intention of renting. So it has its own kitchen, bedroom, living room, bathroom. So that's his. I'm gonna back you up on that because I just got at the beginning of this. I talked about if you buy a house, I think it's a great idea to have an Airbnb in it. But you're saying there's $2,000 extra in taxes if you have an extra like what would you say, mother-in-law suite
extra
in the house?
domicile. It'd be considered, I'm guessing. And we're in a neighborhood it's not a rental area. It's just a house that got grandfathered in. We actually didn't consider this house at first when we saw it on the listing because it said it was a 2-unit, and we weren't interested in becoming like landlords or anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't pay attention to it. Then our realtor said, no, really, you should check this house out. And we saw, it's just a basement that's been converted. And I think it's been an apartment since like the 30s or 40s.
Right.
And so they passed an ordinance sometime in the 90s that said no more apartments, but this one was grandfathered in. So we loved that it was an extra space in the basement, an extra bathroom, living space and everything. But like Jamie said, the taxes meant, just we had to deconvert it.
Are the taxes are there no matter what, even if you aren't renting it out, you have to pay the taxes on that.
You're just in a different tax bracket. Yeah, and so in order to
we had to pay twice for garbage, twice for the other things. We combined the power.
Yeah. We had a fuse box when we moved in. That was just the apartment, and then the other box was for the rest of the house, which I think was only like 80 amp service. So when we moved in, we knew we were never going to rent it, so we just had those combined into one.
This is great things for people to know. Like I would, as I yip yap before the show started, I'm talking about, I think it's great. You pay everything off, and not knowing that you're going to have to pay extra taxes, extra garbage, extra what, and you're going to have all that stuff in there. So you really, if you're going to do that, you have to do it right. And you guys are like, we don't want any strange dudes living in the basement. This is bullshit. Right. Where am I going to put my bobbleheads? I need a place for my bobbleheads. So you went that way. I love it. So I love that you came on the show and you just kicked my idea right in the nuts. I love that.
You were going to Airbnb it? Your place?
Well, not my place, but I said because I stayed in an Airbnb this weekend, and the people that owned it lived downstairs, and then they Airbnb'd upstairs, and I was just like, what a great idea! You're paying your mortgage. That's all I could think.
Yeah, it's location too. I don't feel like for our location, we're probably a mile from the L. Like it's not really
just doesn't work out. Yeah.
For Airbnb, but like I think if you got the location for it, yeah, you could bank.
And everybody's situation is different. We have a friend who Airbnbs. She's constantly out of town, so it's a good way to have someone more reference of people who can like house sit for you and get paid for it.
That's true, but I didn't look at any of the downside. Right. So thank you for coming in and saying, maybe you shouldn't just say everything is lollipops and gumdrops, Ian Bagg. You're just an idiot and you should shut up. So I love that. What's the biggest surprise you've run into owning a house? Like what is the biggest surprise you've run into bad side? What is the biggest surprise you've run into good side owning a house? Because you went from renting to owning a house.
Right. I think the worst surprise was the first year we were here. Within the first couple months, the oven went out, the AC went out. When we turned on the furnace, everything.
It seems to come in waves.
The first year, yeah.
Right.
That was panic because we spent a lot of money when we moved in because we bought this house as is, which meant there was a laundry list of things that had to be fixed and up to code within 90 days, and that was about $8 to $10,000 worth of stuff. And so when all this other stuff started going out, then it was like, oh my gosh, we were like depleting our savings. Right. But, it evened out after that first year.
I'd also say dealing with local municipalities and the permit situations. You don't realize that almost everything, and it varies, I'm sure, between cities, but Chicago's very notorious for having regulations on everything.
Right,
so,
yeah. What are you cutting your lawn? You're going to need a permit. You're going to need a permit.
You need a permit to change a light bulb in this town.
Right.
So,
that's good for people to know that financially. I think I've heard it referred to as house poor. Is that what they call it when you buy a house? Yeah. You're house poor at the beginning, and then you try to slowly get your way back. But I notice the thing. Very few places that are for sale are gonna be okay. Like there's a reason they're moving out for the most part. So you're gonna run into the stove not being oiled, or those kind of things. On our place, we're running into the air conditioner had to be redone and blah 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 blah, all those kind of things. It's just I was like, what the fuck is going on? What the fucking fuck? Sorry, that wasn't supposed to be like that, but that's how I was feeling. Did you get along with your realtor?
Yeah, she was awesome.
How did you find that realtor?
Through a friend who had also bought in this area. And he actually referred us to a woman who's, this was really sad, her mom was passing away, so she wasn't able to help us out, so she referred us to the person that we ended up with. So, yeah, we had a really good experience with our realtor.
Is it realtor?
It's realtor, realtor. I think what company she worked for, just out of curiosity. Did she wear a gold coat?
What was she?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna.
One of the big ones.
One of the big ones?
I know that it's like, they're all...
Well, it does. I like to hear what company they work for, because some people say the big ones don't care, and you go with a smaller company because you get more of them personal, and instead of just just dumping you on everything. So, what is the big thing that you got coming up? What's your next big thing after your basement? What would you like to do?
Well, so we have a craft room right now, and so we actually want to make it kind of half craft, half library. So we're going to do a full wall of built-in shelves. So we're kind of psyched about that. Over the years, you just build your tools. So we kind of had to wait till we had
now I got a proper saw. Now I got proper squares. Now I have all the things.
I love that. That's what's going on at my house right now. Is I'm building up my tool kit. So, is there anything that you'd like to put on technology-wise onto the house? Would you like to do solar? Would it change to gas from oil? I don't even know what kind of heating you have there, but those kind of things.
Solar would be great. If that could be an affordable conversion, we'd be all for it. Because,
have you looked into it at all? Have you been have you guys researched it at all?
Really. We're just trying to keep up with what's going on now. Like next might be having to have like a thermostat you can control with your phone or something, or
the guy said
what we done too. So
what's
our AC is on its last leg, and so we had a couple people come out and give us quotes this year. I'm just kind of talking back to your AC situation. And
we have what's called a space pack, which I don't know. I've never heard of it until we moved here. It's basically a unit they put in the attic. Because homes are so old, everything had to be retrofitted with stuff, and they don't have the space in the walls like new homes do for venting. So they basically put a unit in the attic that then sends hoses to different parts of the house. They drill holes through the ceiling, so that we have AC in the attic and in the main floor, but not in the basement. Because of that, we have heat in the basement and the main floor, but not the attic.
Are you guys going to be putting AC into the basement? Because I would think that would be necessary in Chicago.
We have a window unit that does pretty good in the basement. And it being underground, mostly underground, it stays relatively cool.
Almost like a potato cellar, or
yeah. And really, Chicago's only hot 10, 15 days out of the summer, like unbearably hot like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been this past week. It's been pretty horrible, but for the most part, it's a comfortable level.
So our when they came out to give us quotes, they ranged from 7,200 to like 13,000. So we're kind of in this place where we're going to need another quote to kind of figure out
for something that lasts 10 years.
Right.
They don't last long at all anymore. That's crazy that it was a $7,000 difference.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether you go with the cheap one or the high-end one. You really don't.
Are you getting what you paid for?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's down the road. We were like, we're just gonna run this thing into the ground, so we're gonna let it like get through the summer and then just kind of revisit everything next summer. I think because it's gonna be such a.
Have you guys done that with many things? Do you like such as do you run it into the ground? Because I feel it's best to run things into the ground.
Absolutely, yeah.
Get all you can out of it.
Especially since these things we bought a water heater when we moved in 8 years ago. It just went out this summer. We're like, it's been 8 years. Like the one we replaced had to be 30 years old. You know what I mean? Like why are things lasting like they used to? Like that's insane.
And that was a issue. The plumber told me it was something to do with the reader or something, that it was like a really expensive part that you might as well just get a new water heater for.
$600
So technology is kind of hindering things sometimes.
Right. Sometimes it does. It does hold you back, the technology. Did you guys go with the tank again, or did you go tankless?
No, we did the tank again. Yeah.
Would you ever go tankless?
I didn't even really look into it, to be honest.
I don't even know what that
just because we were in shock and needed it to be fixed, pronto.
Right there is where my interview is going to take a stop, and we're going to talk about this. That is the biggest thing. When something happens, you basically have been in a car accident. You're like, I don't know if I should get off the road or if I should stay here or what I got to do. And that is the worst part of it. You are in shock. And sometimes people don't talk you down, and you just go with whatever. You're like, okay, we got to do it. We got to do it. So
we need hot water. I mean, the dryer and the hot water heater went out within a week of each other. So it was,
You think it's tied, They're both connected to the house, to the gas, right? I don't know.
Yeah, what's going on? It's got to be something going on. Some sort of devil is living in our house that's doing this.
And then the washing machine went out last week, but this guy fixed it. So I mean, we're getting to the point where it's like, we're really taking some
chances we wouldn't have done 10 years ago.
Right.
I love it. I love that you guys are saying what I've always thought. As you buy a house, you become more efficient in knowledge, but you don't at the same time. Things will break down and terrify you that really shouldn't terrify you. And I love that you guys came on and told us all about your house. I love that you guys found what you wanted. I love that you guys said to me, no, it's going to cost you extra to have an extra bedroom down there with a hot plate. You got to change things around. So think about things. Thank you so much, Ian and Jamie. Thank you for dropping by the show, and thank you for listening. By the way, how do you guys know of me?
Actually, I know you through Matt Hummel.
I love
Remember Matt Hummel used to host a Springbok comedy in LA? I was the musical entertainment while you played. I think you performed there a couple times.
Yeah.
At least. And then just through that, and I think we had mutual friends, and
I love it. Springbok.
The famous Ians, kind of.
We're all actually a group. We all have to stick together because everybody screws up our name. Is Ian there? No, Mr. Ziering isn't here.
He's the one.
He's the only one.
He's the only one that ruined it for everybody.
That's right.
Most famous one is the douches.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I always go, my name's Ian, I-A-N, and they'll just go, E-I-A-N? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. People lose their shit. Well, have a good day. Stay cool. I know it's hot out there. Keep on fixing your fixing. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian and Jamie Leith.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ian and Jamie Leith, and they gave us a lot to go. I'm going out to the house this week to do some things to it. I'm actually doing, I'm going to be putting some insulation in one room. If anybody would like to tell me how I measure for how much insulation I need, and I'm talking about the pink stuff that looks like cotton candy, for a room. I don't know what I do to measure that out. So I need someone to help me, and I'm pretty sure it'll be my father-in-law that'll yell at me, Ian, you're a dick. This is what you need. I can't believe I let you marry my daughter. So let me know. I'm also thinking about getting a haircut this week, but I'm kind of enjoying this hair. I do need to get some color in it. I don't like this gray. It makes me feel old. Got to shave. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you come out and see my show if you're in the Ontario, California area, Los Angeles area, Orange County area. Come out and see me at the Ontario Improv. Virginia Beach, I will be seeing you on August 8th. I'm also going to be down in San Diego on August 21st. Don't know the place of it. I might be in Missouri at the end of August. We'll find out very, very soon. I appreciate you guys for listening to the show. Tell your friends, rate it, review it, love it, and send me a message. Send me a comment and share. Facebook is the best. We do all everything else, but we do it mostly on Facebook. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum. And by the way, Todd Kearns, and also before the show started, that was my friend Ray Johnston. Ray Johnston Band, Todd Kearns. Oh, September 17th, Terrace, British Columbia. Make sure you buy your tickets for my fundraiser. Boom, boom. Good night.